Hi, I am Nancy Morrison and I will be taking you through the Anatomy Hall. The Anatomy Hall is where we learn the biology of animals. It is critical that we know both the structural organization of organs and muscles, as this is the basis of our studies and it is incorporated in most of our modules. So now I will take you to the Anatomy Hall. Welcome to the Anatomy Hall. So this is where the students get to have a hands-on experience on learning about different organs and animal species. And this is where we actually dissect our animals and also learn about bones and the anatomy. In the Anatomy Hall, we have a museum that helps us to see a different perspective of the anatomy, as well as to single out different organs and focal points in the body systems. For example, we have the front limb here with the innervation of nerves in the muscles. So here, we have the skeletons that help us to see a better perspective of the muscles, the nerves, and the organs, as well as the blood vessels and how they fit into this whole picture. Why do we actually need to know the skeletal system? That is because we do take radiographs to see any bone fractures, bone abnormalities, and sometimes pathological lesions. And here we have Leonie that will help us view better into that.
Here we have a variety of skeletons that we use during our studies. I know it looks a bit intimidating when you see the skeletons and you can't identify it. So a little tip and trick that we use is that we look at the feet. We have hooves for horses, claws for cattle, sheep and goats, and then paws for dogs. Something that we have different in our Anatomy Hall, and it's fun to identify, is that we have a camel skeleton. It's unique and fun.
Pathology, which is the study of disease, goes hand in hand with anatomy because we have to know the normal before we can tap into the abnormalities. So for example, we have Tulani here, which will give us an overview of the heart anatomy.
The heart is the central organ of the cardiovascular system. It is composed of the myocardium, which is the muscle of the heart. In general, the shape of the heart resembles a cone. This is the base of the heart, also known as the basis cordis, and the vessels of the blood vessels, they are attached to the base. This is the apex of the heart, also known as the apex cordis. The anatomy of the heart varies among different species. Now I will illustrate how the bovine heart differs from the rest of the species. The bovine heart contains extensive fat, which is whitish in color, and here you can see it actually covers all the vessels which are running along the coronary groove. The aortic arch gives out the brachiocephalic trunk, which is also present in all the species. However, the bovine heart it also contains the left asparagus vein, which is unique to the bovine and the ovine, and absent in the equine and the canine. Moving on to the canine. The canine is oval and contains little or no fat. The aortic arch it gives off the brachiocephalic artery and the left subclavian artery. Moving on to the equine heart. The equine heart is relatively big as compared to the bovine, and the coronary and the interventricular groove, they contain relatively less fat as compared to the bovine. All in all, this is the equine horses, bovine cattle, ovine sheep, canine dogs.
So for our second example, we have Kayla, who will be giving us an overview of kidneys from different species.
So here we have kidneys from the bovine, ovine, canine, and equine species. And it's important to be able to identify and differentiate which kidneys belong to which species. This can be done using certain appearance-based hints. So we'll start off with the bovine kidney. As you can tell, it has a very lobulated structure and it almost likens to a raspberry. Next we have the ovine and the canine kidneys. These are a lot smaller and bean-shaped. The canine kidney is a lot smaller and bean-shaped, and this is what a regular canine kidney looks like. And it's important to be able to identify and differentiate what the regular looks like to be able to understand and differentiate what the irregular looks like. Last but not least, we have the equine kidneys, which are a lot more complex than the past couple of kidneys. This is due to the fact that they are very asymmetrical in nature. So on the right-hand side, the equine kidney is shaped like a heart, as you can see here. And on the left-hand side, the equine kidney is a lot more pyramidal in shape.
For our third and final example, we have Leishan, who will be giving us an overview of the canine uterus.
We have two examples of the canine uterus, a normal one and one presenting with an abnormality. We'll first take a look at the normal canine uterus. We have your vulva, vestibulum, vagina, cervix, uterine body, uterine horn, and ovary. You can also see the broad ligament present and the bladder. At the vagina-vestibular junction, a hymen forms, and this is a site for potential infection. In terms of fertilization, majority of the action takes place in your uterine horn. This is where the sperm will fertilize the egg. It will form a zygote and eventually develop into a fetus. Once the fetuses are fully developed, the mom will give birth to a litter of puppies. Now that we've identified the normal, we can move on to the abnormal. This is a uterus showing signs of pyometra. During the normal estrous cycle, there's fluctuations of hormones which causes thickening of your endometrium. With excessive thickening, there's excessive tissue, and this is a site for potential bacterial infection. The infection is usually so bad that the animal shows systemic signs, meaning that signs of illness can be seen throughout the body.